Today is the 15th of June 2025, but it has not changed our situation for the past 70 years because they're all the same. Just one club of corrupt men, different colors, different symbols, but same shit in the inside. What happens is every 5 years, a rightist will vote for a right wing party, a leftist will vote for a left wing party, a socialist will vote for a socialist party, social justice party will vote for a social justice party. If I believe in this policy, I will vote for that party. If I belong to this caste, I will vote for that party. If I belong to this religion, I will vote for that party. Is the mentality of most people. And here I'm not trying to appeal, I'm not trying to talk to the most people. I'm talking to the few 20% of people out there who's fed up with this. Because they realized, as I did, that whether it's a viper, a cobra, or a black mamba, a snake is a snake. I do not want to be near any snake. But the majority of people have not understood this. And I don't blame them. Imagine you're bombarded every day with lies from every corner. You open your phone, you see the lies. You go outside, you hear the lies in a speech. You walk around, you see the flags and symbols waving high. You see the symbols of lies everywhere. Then you come home, thinking you can catch a break from all these lies. Then you hear your own wife, you hear your own child, your own father sprouting these lies to you and sending you WhatsApp forwards about these Facebook posts, news articles on your phone. And then one cannot help but feel depressed. One cannot help but feel helpless, help but feel hopeless, like all is lost. Because at this rate, most men, and all men a lot, will be totally broken. They'll be like, how can I even challenge this status? How can I even bring a change when my own wife is doing this, my own father is doing this, and I am not able to convince them? I know many of you would have tried to explain to your parents that, hey, this is not true. The fact is that is just a lie they've told you. And you get your parents emotional or your family members emotional. And they fight back with you, they argue back with you. And no matter how much you try to prod them with logic and reason, they just don't seem to listen. And can anyone really blame you for feeling like giving up, for feeling hopeless? No. But that is precisely what they want you to do. That is precisely what these corrupt club wants you to do. That is exactly what they want. Their entire future, their entire fate is staked on the single variable that you, the common man, the man who's actually the source of power on earth, the man who is the reason for the entire system to function, the man who, together with millions of people like him, is the reason why the world spins round. He hopes on you, on your will to be crushed. He hopes that you will give up. Do not give him the satisfaction. Do not give him the satisfaction. Many times I too was like, it's impossible. There is simply no way. There's no way. It's better I just follow the rules and I just go be a good little boy and do whatever they tell me. I thought this too, but I realized that their entire fate, their entire power, they seem so muscular, strong, unchallengeable. When you see them with hundreds of flags on the road, when you see hundreds of hundreds and thousands of people in a big park screaming their slogans, waving their flags with such josh and power. When you go open your phone and you see them everywhere in the news article, you see their faces. And when you hear everyone speaking praises, when you open the comments of YouTube video and all you say is, I love you, I love you, and they put the heart emojis and all that. When so much, and then you see their net worth in the hundreds of crores. Even the poorest politician, as we all know, is worth hundreds of crores. We all know this fact. We all know this fact. And then when you go to vote, you see all these supporters being brainwashed by their lies. And then you're like, how can I because they were going to win due to the logic of democracy, they are going to win because numerically the supporters will be much higher than you, undeniably. But then you can't help but feel like giving up. But that is what they want you to do. They want you to give up. Their entire power is an illusion because it depends on just one tiny thing, that the fact that you give up and you accept that, okay, you can take my fate into your hands. That's what they rely upon. Don't give them this. And the longer, and it's very simple how you beat them. Very, very simple. All there is hold. Hold. That's it. What's going to happen is this: when you're about to quit and about to give up and say, believe that this is hopeless to challenge them, they're too numerous. Their songs everywhere, their videos everywhere, their speeches are everywhere. They're in every goddamn newspaper. They're on the front page. My wife supports them. My father supports them. They're in every WhatsApp forward. And you go to a cafe, and the first thing out of anyone's mouth is their name and about them. But you say, no, I will not give up. I will not accept the status quo. I will not stop fighting. You say that. Then eventually what happens is, the longer you hold out, the longer you don't give up, the longer you keep resisting, someone else will start resisting. And when someone else resists, another person will start resisting. And then two more will start resisting. Three more will start resisting. And few more and more and more and more people will start resisting. And when that happens, that tidal wave will just be a small little splash on your foot. Their power will collapse just like that. That is how in human history changes have occurred. That is how in human history governments have been removed, corrupts have been removed, and new orders have been established. That is how change happens. It all depends on the simple fact that you, the seemingly powerless man, resign your fate to them. And you say, okay, fine, my life is in your hands. No, don't give them that. Keep your life in your hands, your fate in your hands, your destiny in your hands. Do what is best for you, which is not to follow them, not to fall for their lies, not to fall for their tricks. They have purposely created this image of us being powerless, voiceless, numerically insignificant, tiny, minuscule, weak, anti national, anti religious, anti God, anti whatever the terms they can come up in, all these ism, like they always create. See, I need you to realize this, that whenever they put this ism behind a term, that's just a lie, that's just a label to try to malign you. Do not fall for that and actually believe that's what they want you to do. That's just a invented word, ism. Just putting ism behind all this nonsense, it's just lies. Okay. And when they use the word anti or this is what happens a lot of time. You criticize said ruling party on a policy, what do they call you? They call you anti-national. Okay, they call you anti-secular, they call you anti-religious, they call you anti whatever the hell. They keep creating all these labels. Why do they create these labels and not come up with a solid reason why you are wrong, a logical reason? Because if they did, they'd lose. If they did, they'd lose. So, I need you to remember that this image that you are powerless, you have no voice, you're a minority, you're insignificant, you can't bring a change, you're nobody, you can't do this is completely a lie. The fact is that power still remains with you and always will remain as long as you remember this fact and do not give them the satisfaction. Just hold on, don't give them your fate into their hands, and that's it. You'll win. And the second promise you, I guarantee you, you will win. Do not resign your fate to any of the so called parties, so called leaders, so called heroes, these so called saviors, messiahs. No, do not, because they're all one club of corrupt. And these men, in fact, are just puppets most of the time. They are just puppets because their entire game revolves around money. Their entire game revolves around money. For the reason they come into existence often in the start was actually belief in a noble cause, but what happens is that the noble leader is defeated by the corrupt who later joins him from this club. They infect his vision, they infect his ideology, they infect his noble deeds. So that man is no more there anymore. We have seen this in the current party who's ruling our nation. We can see this clearly, what's happening. The reason they fight elections, the reason of their existence is very simple. I will explain, Ryan. They exist only for the sole purpose of fighting elections and getting seats. That's it. It's not to bring a change in society, it's not for the betterment of people, it's not to bring the so called promises or policies they wish to enact. No, it's not that. It's just to win seats. And by hook or crook, they need to win seats. Why? Because when they win seats, they can form a government. And when they can form a government, they eat the government's money. I mean, not government's money, I mean your money. Who do you think pays for their pockets? Who do you think pays for their big villas? Who do you think pays for their child's foreign trips across the world? Who do you think pays for that golden rings and ruby rings that they're wearing? My friend, it's you. That's right. Your taxes go to the government. The government's job is to give those taxes back to us in the form of roads, better quality of living, better food, better health. But these are eaten by these corrupt. They are eaten. They are eaten. And this is an open fact which everyone knows. But again, due to this feeling of powerlessness they've created, many people believe it can't be changed, but it is not so. That's what they do. So they eat it. Where the money goes, they follow. Where the bonus, the dog follows. And when the dog sees its master, its tail wags. Often what happens is these corrupt men are are merely puppets for those people who wish not to be in the public eye. And if you do not want to be in the public eye, it means only one thing, that you have some evil intentions. And indeed, they have evil intentions. These certain men behind the scenes give the money to them. These are the men who come in suits, they are the men who come in all these fancy clubs. You don't see them in public, you don't see them in news much. But these are the men, because the politicians are dependent on them for money. And as you know, money is what controls them. They're just puppets to money. They cannot do anything without money. They became slave to money. This is what happens when you become corrupt. You become a slave to money. And whatever vision, noble cause you actually had when you first joined goes in the gutter. This is the price of corruption to be paid. And all of them paid. And these businessmen, these financiers, they control them by funding the politicians to enact policies that benefit the businessman. If you've noticed, whichever party comes in power, leftist, rightist, secular, religious, it really doesn't matter, because the businessman will always be on top. These financiers, these people who give the funds, these people who play behind the scenes, because they know that if they come into the public eye, they are going to be exposed, and the public will not let them go and will catch them, and the entire world will know how utterly evil deeds. This is why they try to use politicians as mere puppets to deflect the public attention from them. And these people behind the scenes, do you know how they see the common people? Who is the reason they have their money? Because after all, it is us who give them money. They see us as a burden. They see the common man as a burden. They see the guy without a home, sleeping on the sidewalk as a burden. They see the guy going to office 9 to 5, broken, with his wife and children, his family fighting each other as a burden, as a waste of resources. They see you and your child going to school and going up and down to school, wasting so called resources as a burden. They see they see the poor sweet street sweeping woman just doing her job, a noble job indeed, as a burden. They see all of these as a burden. And now that you know that they see you as a burden, the common man as a burden, ironically, what do you think their policies are going to be like? What do you think they're going to get the politicians to do for them? What do you think the world should look like according to them? What do you think is their goal? What do you think is their vision? Tell me. This club of corrupt during the election time, they insult each other, say, oh, he's this, oh, he's that, he said this, he did that, he got exposed, he got exposed, he got slapped in the face, he virally attacked him, he attacks him, he makes a statement on him, all these kind of terms to build up hype. You know why they use these terms? This is one more thing I just want to tell you. They want to use these terms because without these terms they'll be just exposed for the tricksters they are. You know that. So they go. They insult each other. But guess what happens? The day of election, you know where they are. They're sitting in their house, all of them sitting with namkeen in one bowl and just having fun, laughing together. Then when one of their daughter's wedding, they go to their sworn enemy, the enemy even God hates, the enemy even the devil is scared of. That's what they call them. They go there and bless the daughter and take smiling photos with their greatest enemy the world has known. They then go on hotels together, they eat together. All this the press has tried to hide for years and they did succeed, but now it was so openly and blatantly done, this double face game, that it's common knowledge. Every single man, and I'm not just talking about those people who have thought about this and actually really seen the situation, but ask this beggar sleeping on the street right now in front of your house about this, he would say, yeah, it's true, I know it. Ask literally anyone, ask the laborer who's working on that building right in front. He'll say, yes, it's true. Ask the man in the tiny pawn shop selling whatever little he can to get by with his daily life about these corrupt politicians who's filled money which rightfully belongs to him inside their mattresses and inside their walls about it, and say, yes, it's true, indeed, yes. And the so-called channels, the so-called sources of information, such as Republic TV, Archtalk, India Today, whatever and literally every other, you think is unbiased, you think it's not, it's all controlled by them. Again, it's all controlled by them. This is just strategy used by them to fool you. It's all controlled by them. There is no such thing. These sources will never give you unbiased reports. They will always sing praises of them. They will always sing praises of them. In this way, a system is created which, when people actually start to get a whiff of what's actually going on, and people actually start getting angry and they start saying, you know what, this shit's gotta stop. No more can we deal with this. We're tired of this. It fizzles their discontent and they go back to the normal state. So What happens is the public isn't normal. They see a, a little of their exposed, the corrupt, they see little of the exposed nature of the corrupt. They get angry, and that anger starts to grow. So what do? It gets diverted because another party will say, hey, you know what? This guy is a very corrupt guy. So you support me and I'll teach him a lesson. So the people support him. Okay, teach him a lesson for us. Guess what happens? They don't teach a lesson. And then the other party says, he's corrupt. You support us. We'll teach him a lesson. And this is what happens, like a pedal, like a swing. Up, down, up, down, up, down. This is what keeps happening. And this is how no change actually really happens. And this leads to the two outcomes which I spoke of yesterday. That either the honest, noble, common man who all politicians, all these businessmen, financiers, everyone is dependent upon, gives up with their soul crushed, or they just become a blind follower, a bhakt. So I want you to remember this, that all of them are the same. They say, I hate the other guy. But the next evening they're at a five-star hotel sharing kebabs together. They say, he's a threat to our religion. But what happens is, they're giving money to each other. They say, he's going to destroy your rights. But the fact is, they both have been destroying your rights by. They both have been destroying your rights by taking all your money and never giving you the promise. What kind of right is that? What kind of right is that? What elections really is, one last thing I want you to keep in mind is what election really is. The sorry state of our elections has now devolved, and what it really is that all these parties fight not on policies, not for your right, fight not on the fate of our nation. No, they fight on who gets to eat the government's money this election. That's what they have. Remember this, and always keep your eyes open, stay alert. And when one party criticizes the other party and says, you support me, I will teach him a lesson and I will bring you the promises, know that's a lie, also known as a jumla. That's what they are. They're all in it together, and they're hoping that you feel powerless and give up. But we won't give up. Stay strong.